It's finally here. After waiting for over a decade, Bandai Namco have finally done it. After their 2-year cycle of releasing kinda mediocre games, we finally have our Tenkaichi for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Now, after 24 hours of playing the game and a decent amount of experience from Budokai Tenkaichi 2 and 3, I think I'm ready to give my 2 cents, more like 10, on the game and the state of the game, and also where it could be going in the future. Alright, let's get right into things with the combat. The combat is amazing, and the same as every single other Tenkaichi game, is super fluid and fast paced with really intuitive counters, especially when ki is maintained and you have those super fast multiple transition moments even versus the CPU. The low skill floor and high skill ceiling might even allow your little brother or sister to plug in a controller and allow you to feel like you're not versing a straight up newbie. But the challenge does increase, where you have to lock in just that little bit more when you're versing somebody who knows what they're doing. Having classes and characters that excel in different ranges of fighting makes it so that there's a larger variety in the different fighting styles you can go up against. Mid to long range fighting isn't too OP or annoying, but can still catch people off guard and leaves a good place for characters that are ki blast specialists like Vegeta. It also makes it so you don't find yourself fighting a UI signed Goku or Whis every time you roll up into a ranked game. A varying combos on different characters keeps you on your toes, where a punch ki blast might result in a flying kick on one character and another might be a heavy finisher on another. This means actually watching what your opponent does just becomes that bit more important when you're fighting somebody. The game also provides you with a plethora of ways to counter full rush attacks with your transmission strikes, your Z blocks, and revenge counters. Things that seem to be OP right now, such as your Ultra Instinct dodges, do seem to have a decent amount of ways, such as your strong attacks and charged ki blasts, to counter them and leave different windows for you to get in strikes that you wouldn't be able to get in before. Fight that mechanics such as the UI does have limitations such as ki, and other abilities such as Wild Sense, which at the moment also does seem OP, is limited by stocks. It really makes no two fights feel the same when it comes to this game. Okay, so let's get into progression and unlocking characters. When it comes to unlocking and gaining all the characters in the game, it is super duper easy, especially if you've got the head start from getting the deluxe or ultimate edition of the game. And to be honest, with how easy it is to get characters within the game, it kind of made the deluxe and ultimate editions kind of null and void because it was so simple. But most characters can be acquired through buying them in the store or by completing fights and episodes to unlock the characters. On the flip side, you still have to complete things like the World Tournament to unlock characters like Gogeta from Z, which makes it feel like you're still progressing in some kind of way. Player level does become a little bit of a hindrance though, when getting like your last couple of characters. I personally run into the issue of not being able to get Goku Black and get Fused Zamasu, even after finishing Goku's story. These characters are only unlocked in the store after you hit player level 20. But as a quick tip, if you want to get them before you hit 20, make sure you use your Dragon Balls, your Super Dragon Balls on unlocking characters. If not, you should have plenty of Zenny when you hit player level 20 and should be able to buy all the characters at that point too. Next up, the story episodes. Here's where for me the game starts to fall short just a little bit. So what carries you through the story mainly is nostalgia and the combat itself. Let's just straight up address the elephant in the room. The cutscenes between fights are frankly horrible, and most of them, if you tried hard enough, are exactly what you will be able to produce if you took your time in the custom episode maker. It's not a far-fetched idea that the voice lines have been recycled from the past games, and the cutscenes, when comparing it to the sequence fights in BT2, when you're doing Goku versus Vegeta after you fought Raditz, Nappa, and the Cybermen, build up the fight to a much greater height than any hype that was built in the current game that we have. And let's not even compare the cutscenes that you got in Xenoverse 2. Like that scene when the Z Fighters interrupts Broly's entrance into the Hyperbolic Time Chamber and they get their butts whooped in a 5v1, which was absolutely brutal. Absolute cinema. With all that, it kind of feels like we went backwards in a sense when it came to the quality of the cutscenes in the story mode. I will say though, the alternate sparking stories and sparking episodes were pretty cool and kind of unique, especially with the Goku story where they do a what if Goku went Super Saiyan pretty early. It was well fleshed out and really explored what even the next saga would have looked like if Goku went Super Saiyan just that bit earlier. I won't say too much because of spoilers, but I really think it was a good run. A lot of the cutscenes that we did get within the story, which had a little bit more animation, was mainly just of blasts that were from ultimate moves within the game, with just that tiny bit more talking, and it wasn't really its own fight sequence like you would have seen in the previous games. We kind of went from BT2, where it had a lot of combat in the cutscenes, down to BT3, where we had barely any, and then they tried to hit like a middle ground in Sparking Zero. When it comes to online gameplay, there's really not that much to say. As a community, as we start to learn about the game, we'll see how there's multiple counters for things like Ultra Instinct Goku and Whis. Like some things that we just looked over were actually secretly super strong, like take Yamcha's Wild Sense or Reikum's extra armor to stop him from staggering. Those things are sleeper but really strong things when used correctly. Theory crafting and the amount of counters that are available in the game will flesh itself out in the near future, so online might not get too sweaty and we might see quite a bit of variability, especially with all the playstyle style in the game. Last but not least, the future of the game and what's coming out soon. DLC. Apparently guys, we are getting Daima, which will be really cool to see a weakened Vegeta. When you play as Daima Goku, he does have a voice line about him struggling with his weaker body, which we haven't really had before in any of the games, where he can't maybe ki blast as much, or maybe he'll be similar to Teen Goku where he doesn't have any ki blast, which will be interesting to see where Bandai Namco could take it. And last but not least, hopefully we get a Super Android 17 coming into the game pretty soon. All in all, Sparking Zero is exactly what the community has been asking for the past decade or so. It really is a blast from the past, reminiscent of our old days while playing Tenkaichi 2 and 3. It does have lackluster cutscenes, but more than makes up for it with the airtight combat, which has an easy entry level but boundless depth, and also with the custom episode maker. Bandai Namco have honestly done a really good job here, giving us quality anime fighter that we haven't seen since the early days of Naruto Ninja Storm. Alright, thanks for listening to my 2 cents on the game. If you think I'm off on anything like the story mode, let me know in the comments. On my streams, we'll be doing some ranked battles soon, and also we'll be doing some in-houses as well, so feel free to join the Discord. If not, follow whatever you want to follow. Have a good day and good night wherever you are, and yeah, take care. Peace.